welcome back to Drinking It In. I am your host, Chris Casara. We are here to help you know more and drink better. And today we are talking about Burgundy on a budget. Actually, we're starting a series on the topic since finding good Burgundy, whether it is red or white, is becoming harder and harder to do these days. Today, we're going to be talking about Red Burgundy, specifically Bourgogne Rouge. This is a particular Bourgogne Rouge we'll be tasting later. For a bit of background, Red Burgundy wine is 100% Pinot Noir. It's widely considered among the best red wines in the world. It's favored by a lot of collectors, and really the problem here is most of it is made in extremely small quantities. And as a result, as interest has grown and it's become sort of a luxury item, prices have just gotten out of control, and they're out of most people's budget. And most people's budget, I fall into that range. Even though I'm someone who's obsessed with wine, I don't regularly spend more than $50 a bottle, and that is where most of the wine in Burgundy sits at a minimum. How do we find value in that $30 to $50 price range? And most advice I hear is to start with the top wines and kind of work your way down to entry level, but I think that's incorrect. I think Burgundy is fundamentally so delicious, we can safely work from the ground up. Entry level in Burgundy is not quite the same as entry level in other regions. It just starts at a much higher floor. So my experience tells me, or it has told me, that you should target great producers who make Bourgogne Rouge or wines from accessible appellations. There are appellations that, for whatever reason, don't have the same cachet, so you can get them for a reasonable price, and the wines are usually of great quality. So these appellations that I target include, but are not only, right, not exclusive, Hautes Cotes de Nuits, Mercure, Fixine, which I think I'm pronouncing incorrectly, Cote de Nuits Village, so those are Village wines from the Cote de Nuits, those are generally reliable. Chory-le-Bon, Savigny-le-Bon, and I'm going to include Roulis, but only as a conditional pick because I've had some success with those wines, but I've also had a few misses, so let's include that as a conditional one, maybe not one to put in your top 5. Talked about appellations. Now from a producer perspective, right, my favorites are Pierre Briset, 2 more minutes and we'll taste, Louis Chavy, Friedrich Esmonine, and David Dubon. Now David Dubon, his Hautes Cotes de Nuits is a stunning wine every year and is way underpriced because I still find it under $40 in local stores as well as online. So that is something to consider. If you only have access to big brands, the bigger brands in Burgundy, I guess, my favorites are Domaine Favelet and Joseph Durand. Let's talk about this guy. Ooh. We're going to taste 2021 Pierre Briset Bourgogne Rouge Cuvée Gabreuse. Now, Gabreuse is an old term or an old name for Gevrey-Chambertin, and all this fruit is from Gevrey-Chambertin, but outside of the area of the appellation, so they can't call it Gevrey. Oh man. Briset made almost no wine in 2021 because a lot of the crop was damaged due to frost and hail issues, but the wines that they were able to make, have garnered really great reviews. And this one hopefully will be in line with those great reviews. So this wine, oh man, the cherries on that wine are just stupid. This wine is imported by Fast Selections. Lyle Fast, I've talked about him a bunch of times on the channel before. He's got a great relationship with Briset and brings the wine in, I think, fairly regularly, at least annually. And I'm excited to try it. I mean, his enthusiasm for this wine was, you could feel it when you read the email. And judging by the initial sniff of cherries, I see why he was enthusiastic about this. You can tell there's definitely some minerality here, and the cherries, they're not black cherries, but they are cherries that have a little darkness. So they're fresh red cherries with a little darkness in them. Hopefully that makes sense. You can see what I'm trying to convey. There's a little something perfumey about this wine. Not in an overwhelming, not an overwhelming aspect, right? But there's a bowl of cherries that basically have like a drop of perfume in that bowl, and the scent that you get is a combination of that. You could argue that I'm smelling raspberries as well, but I'm not going to go there. Lovely acid. I mean, the cherries are there. Cherries are all over the place. I'm almost getting a touch of licorice. Not like a black licorice, but almost like a red licorice. So you've got an inkling of sweetness on this. But this wine is just, it's super elegant, uber silky. I can't wait to leave this on the counter for like another few hours and come back to this a little later this evening. I appreciate you joining. Let me know if you have any thoughts about finding good red Burgundy on a budget. Whether you have good producers, appellations I didn't call out, just some tips so we can all benefit. And I will see you soon. Hey, don't forget to subscribe. It would really mean a lot to me. Cheers.